positive and mother is Rh negative, there is a good chance that the newborn fetus or baby will suffer from erythroblastoma fetalis. Now, let's see what happens. Fetus blood. Whatever the blood type is, Rh positive means what? On the surface, what type of antigen you have? Anybody? Rh is determined by D. Remember that? So this is fetus. Since fetus is Rh positive, that means D antigen. D antigens are present on the red blood cell. Is it clear? Positive. And mother is what? Negative. Okay? So, on the red blood cell of mother, no D. That's why negative. You know that. No D. In the plasma of mother, now you tell me, we are talking about D. So, here, since D antigens are present on the red blood cell surface, this is positive, right? Should D antibodies present in the plasma or not? No. No D antibodies. Makes sense, right? Because same type should not be present. That is the rule. Okay. Mother's blood doesn't have any antigen on the red blood cell surface, so has antibodies in the plasma. Okay. Now, when the fetus blood, when the circulation will be established between mother and fetus, fetus blood will enter into the mother's body. Make sense? So D antigens will enter into mother's body. Okay? Make sense? So D antigens. Now know that when any antigen enters into your body responds to that, right? You know that. By producing antibodies. Make sense? So what will happen, you see, when D antigens will enter into the mother's body, in response to these D antigens, mother's body will start to produce antibodies. Okay, against these D antigens. And when the mother will be pregnant first time with Rh positive fetus, okay, or baby, mother's body will start to produce antibodies against these D antigens. But this development or production of antibodies in mother's body is slow. Okay, slowly mother's body will respond and will produce antibodies. Okay, and the first child will born without difficulty because still mother's body is producing antibodies and that is not strong enough to destroy the blood cells of the fetus. Okay. So first child usually doesn't suffer from erythroblastoma fetalis. Now second pregnancy. In the second pregnancy, again the fetus is Rh positive and the D antigens again enters into mother's body. Okay. This time the mother's body already has plenty of antibodies because first exposure has occurred right before. And mother's body, even after the birth, mother's body continue to produce antibody. Okay. And when second time the blood will get into mother's body, D antigens will enter. This time mother's body will produce more antibodies and also has a plenty of antibodies. Okay. So that will cause the destruction of these red blood cells of the fetus. Okay. From mother's body, blood will go to fetus, right? We know fetus to mothers, that will produce antibodies, and now mother's blood will enter into fetus. Lot of antibodies will enter into fetus blood. Make sense? So that antibodies will destroy the red blood cells of the fetus, because same type of antibody. Make sense? Now, you tell me, if the red blood cells are destroyed, then your bone marrow will do what? Will try to produce more quickly, fast, right? To replace those destroyed red blood cells. So that happens in fetus. Fetus body produces new red blood cells because the red blood cells have been destroyed. Make sense? So many red blood cells will quickly enter into the blood without getting matured. Without getting what? Matured. Will try to enter into the blood. And in the blood, you will get what type of red blood cells? Immature red blood cells. And that is the erythroblasts. Make sense? So now you got plenty of immature red blood cells in the fetus blood. That is erythroblastosis fetalis. Make sense? And those red blood cells are not capable to transport oxygen. Make sense? So usually in erythroblastosis fetalis, the fetus dies and the intensity increases. First child usually doesn't suffer, okay? Second time there is a chance, third chance, more chance. Make sense? Because more antibodies will be produced in the mother's body. Now, this was a problem, particularly in those countries. They don't have, the ability to regularly, test the mother's blood. So that was the main cause of death of newborn. Many cases, newborn used to die due to erythroblastosis fetalis. Now we know already that we can test the mother's blood. If mother's blood is negative and the fetus is positive, then you can take the preventive measures, right? You can take some injections that will inhibit the production of antibodies in mother's body. Okay, so that will not cause harm. So you can prevent that erythroblastosis fetalis. So, how antibody and antigen reactions occur, you have already seen when you did the blood typing. You have seen clotting, right? Clot formation when you mix the serum. Serum is antibodies. So same type of antibody will reaction will occur. So if someone's blood responds to both antibody A, antibody B, that means on the red blood cell surface has both types of antigens, right? A and B. That's why both types of antibodies reacted. If someone has only A, blood type is A. If someone has only B, blood type is B. Someone has none, that is O. You see, if you give antibody A, antibody B, no reaction. That means no antigen A or B. That is blood type O. Okay. So what you will do after you go home, okay? So just draw on the paper. This is type A. That will make a lot of sense, okay? If you draw it, just this is type A. That means what type of antigen? A. Make sense? In the plasma, what type of antibody? B. Because same type must be absent. Okay? So this is blood type A. Type A. This is type B. So B antigens. In the plasma, what type of antibodies? A. This is rule number 1. Same type of antibody must be absent. Okay. Number 2 rule number 2 is when you do blood transfusion, you consider what? Red blood cells of the donor and the plasma of the recipient. Okay. That means when this blood will enter into this person's blood, we will consider this and this. Make sense? These antibodies will destroy these red blood cells, donor's red blood cells. Is it clear? Now, the recipient has red blood cells with B antigens. These B antibodies will not be able to destroy these cells, although same type is getting in. Why the recipient's red blood cells will not be destroyed? Because the amount of plasma getting in, antibodies getting in, is much less than the whole recipient's plasma. Make sense? Will get diluted, and will get weak. So will not be able to. Some reactions, allergic reactions or transfusion reactions will occur, but that will not cause hemolysis. Okay, so that's why we consider the donor's red blood cells and the recipient's plasma, not the opposite. Okay. Okay. Let's stop here. Next day we'll start the cardiovascular system.